city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, and it is Wednesday, October 18th, YC125, and let's get ready for Havoc! This is the Eve Universe Show! Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it going, guys? It is exciting. It is Wednesday, which for those of you who might be paying attention, I don't stream on Wednesday, but you know what? There's a lot going on this week, so extra special, stream for everyone. We have updates from, we have a dev blog, and we have HOBOLEAKS. We've had many questions as to what things are going to be like in Havoc, and we are getting answers. And let me tell you, I like almost all of the answers that I've gotten. Almost. There's one thing that has me a little bit perturbed, but we'll talk about that in a little while. First, I want to remind everybody to, settle in, have a good time. If this is your first time here, make sure to sub onto the channel, so that way you get all of my streams and my videos and stuff where we teach people about EVE Online, the lore, and help put EVE into context for you guys, my fellow Empyreans. In addition to that, I do want to welcome everybody who's here. Steve and Tonia, thank you so much for being here. Joseph, Arydanika, Don't Kill the Dealer, all you guys, thank you guys for being here. Before we jump into the big news, though, I do want to talk about a little bit of side news, a little bit of an aside. So yesterday, I went on, I think they still call it the Beaver Show, which is the show that's made by Sorry in Advanced, which is a wormhole group in EVE, and they do a really good job. I love them, and we are actually going to be doing a partnership with them moving forward with Invited, which I talk about on the stream. But in addition to that, they're actually doing a contest, which is a well, I had to scroll up. Don't kill. You were at the top. So they have a coloring sheet. So you got to go over to their stream, or to their video on YouTube, and check out their video, and they have the link to the thing, and you just color it in and send it to them, and you have the chance to win 500 Plex, which is pretty cool. So I do want to point out that I was on that stream. We talked about a lot of different things. It might be worth checking out. Thank you so much, Ganai, for that gifted membership. We are getting closer and closer. I think that's I think that means that we have 7 more memberships. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check, but I think we're at 7 more memberships, and we get the Blood Raider emote. Eboleet! What's up, my friend? Eboleet. It's good to see you. How much is the Angel Titan? So that is one of the things that we've learned. It looks like the, wait. Oh yeah, that's the Deathless, right? Yeah, that's the Deathless. It looks like the prices in the Serpentis LP store is the new standard, right? So we're going to look at that. There's more to it than that, though. That's a very, that doesn't show the full picture. So let's jump into that first. Or let's get into that. Also, the economic report video is now out live on my channel, and I believe that by the end of the day, Danny should be having the Crimson Harvest rant video available for members. So you can of course become a member for just $1. It gets you those emotes. It gets me closer to the Blood Raider emote, and it gets you those videos a day early. Either way, that's enough like shilling and stuff. Oh wait, no, one more shilling. Look at my coffee cup. I love my coffee cup. I need to get one for the Invited now. Ooh. Then I'll be double fisting coffee. Maybe I should get maybe I should have a Convocation of Empyreans coffee cup and like a Deathless wine glass, or like beer stein or something. So it's like, here's my alcoholic drink and here's my coffee drink. Oh yeah, one last thing. Obviously this is YouTube, so not Twitch, but there are Twitch drops still going on. Today is the last day to get those Twitch drops. So when you're done here, head on over to to Twitch, find your favorite YouTuber with drops in its name doing EVE Online, and get yourself those Malagrin Marshlight skins and Evermarks. Okay, all that out of the way. I wanted to get all of that stuff out of the way quickly, so that way we can jump into this. I don't know how long the stream is going to be. Oh yeah, one last special thing. Oh my God, Punchinello. Somebody wants a Blood Raider emote. Very cool of you. On behalf of Ouch, Nefzin, Cyberdude, Stark Solid, and GM Trails, thank you very much, Punch. And actually, I'm going to give you, like, double thank you, because, you know, as I mentioned a couple streams ago, I think, GM Trails is Orleus, who is, like, the convocation of Empyreans would not work without her. So I'm very glad that she got one of those memberships. Speaking of which, the war ends. The war is over. So yay, the war is over. We're going to be out of war within 24 hours. So there's that. Okay. Are we done yet? Are we done? Can I move on? Danny, do I have permission to move on? Should we get into the big topic of the day? Oh, well, no. Yeah, that's tomorrow, Malik. All right. I will say, yeah, tomorrow we are doing, we are raiding the war zone as part of the playtest, and we'll be doing stuff with Raid Shadow Legends. There's some prizes and stuff to give out. So that is a good point. Today is a bonus stream that, as I talked about yesterday, I explicitly am streaming today because I wanted to make sure that you guys don't feel cheated in any way, shape, or form by me doing the other, the stuff about Raid later this week. So if you enjoy this, please, it would mean the world to me to be here tomorrow for the live test of the insurgency system, and help show that I can actually be a good influencer, because that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? All right. I'm going to let that play its way through. Okay, but also today, because it's a bit unusual, I made a deal with my son, okay? My son has had a lot of time, like, if you've been paying attention, he's been sick on and off a lot. Not like in a serious way, but in a, we're just back to school, and so picking up all the crud kind of way. But this week, like, he really didn't want to go to school on Monday, and he was really upset about it. And he's like, because he's had so many days off, including days off that were like for school, in which he's been sick. And so he felt like really cheated that he's lost like several weekends now, not being able to be like active. And he seems to be healthy during the school day a lot of the time. So I agreed with him that if he did a really good job on Tuesday, he could just have the day off on Wednesday, because Wednesdays are like a shorter day anyways. And whatever, he gets one choice day of the year, and it happens to be this year, or this day. So what that means is, hey, Zed! Zed! Come and see here, bitte! Come on in! Say hi!
Hi.
So yeah, he's going to be here. He might pop in and out. No promises either way. I guarantee you that he will quickly get bored from what we're talking about. But do you want to become a pirate?
What?
Do you want to become a pirate?
What do you mean?
Like, you want to go yar and steal stuff from people, blow things up, and cause havoc?
I like those last two parts, so yes.
Yes. Well, that's what we're planning on doing, right? That's what we're doing next month. We are going to become pirates and go raid into other people's territory and just start looting and pillaging everything and blowing everything up and causing as much chaos as we can. Does that sound like fun?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, excellent. Does that mean I'm actually going to get you to try EVE Online now, finally?
No promises.
No promises.
But
Excellent.
I will try.
Okay. Well, if he tries out EVE Online, would you guys all watch it? That's the question. He likes people watching him play, so like that might be the difference. Takes a couple seconds for that to show up. The honest truth, yeah, exactly. From the mouth of babes. What a truth. He's already playing Eve. Yeah, see, they love you. They want more of you.
Okay.
You all right, dude?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before I send you away? You want to say greetings, fellow Empyreans? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So he wanted to remind everybody that sadly, our guinea pigs. You know, for those of you who don't know, we've talked about this before, but our guinea pigs have a tragic and rare disease where food and water is just simply insufficient for them. And they actually require a steady diet of likes, comments, and subscribes.
Yeah.
So if you could go ahead and do that for us, it would mean the world to us and the guinea pigs. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
All right. 07. High five. All right. Try not to cause too much trouble. All right. I admire someone that can turn down the praise of the masses. Sigma male right there. All right. Save the piggies. Okay. So now I think we can jump into the main topic of the day, right? We've had enough time. People have settled in. We got people here. All right. Let's jump into it. Maybe? Where's the browser? Browser! There it is. Pirate insurgencies and... There he is right there. Hi, Zed! I can hear him laughing from the other room. Awesome. All right, pirate insurgencies and alignment. All right, so this is the new thing. This is the big devlog. This is the one that we've been waiting for. This came out today. And it also contains a video. So the good news, the bad news is that that is a lot of text for me to read. The good news is I don't need to read it because they already read it for me. Almost all of this text just comes straight out of this video. So we're going to start out by checking out the video, and I'll pause it and talk. So this is CCP Aurora. For those of you who don't know, CCP Aurora was once an Eve player. I think she worked for Brave, right? Yeah, she was part of like the Brave Dojo and everything and really big in tournaments. She's the reason why the Alliance tournament has been brought back. Oh yeah, no sound. Thank you. She's the reason why the Alliance tournament got brought back. She was a major player in the making of the Faction Warfare update that was extremely popular in Uprising. And here she is at it again with Havoc.
EVE Online players have played as pirates for years, and finally, they'll be able to do that a bit more legitimately. Just like players have been able to enlist in faction warfare with an empire of their choice, be it Caldari, Gallente, Amarr, or Minmatar, you will be able to enlist with a pirate faction of your choice. This will be either the Guristas or the Angels Cartel. The Guristas are going to be going to war, raiding the space that has been destabilized in the Caldari Gallente.
This UI already looks so much better than the ones we saw earlier, right? Like yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah, either way, the previous one, this is already a huge improvement.
Warzone. And on the other side of the universe, the Angels are doing much the same thing, raiding into the space that has been disturbed by the ongoing war between the Amarr and the Minmatar. During these insurgencies, the pirate factions will deploy a forward operating base into the space, from which they'll begin to raid the space around them. As they raid the space, they will attempt to attack corporate outposts, harass mining fleets, and so on. The more crimes that those pirates commit, the more the crime level goes up in the system. This is what we're calling corruption. On the flip side, the Empire militias who are attempting to control that space can act as law enforcement, and they're looking to stop these pirate raids. In order to do this, as they fight off the pirates, they will increase the law enforcement level in the system, which we are calling suppression. As corruption increases in the system, the effects in the system will become cumulative. As more crimes happen, law and order begins to break down, and that's roughly what corruption is attempting to simulate. corruption is, in a sense, good for the pirates. They revel in it, so to speak. As corruption in a system increases, it will grant various bonuses to the space that will alter the nature of the space while that corruption level is elevated. These can range from relatively simple effects, such as players dropping more loot when they explode, or more complicated effects, such as the system almost dropping in a...
If there's lip sync issues, then that might be my issue, not the video, because the video looks in sync to me. Is my talking out of sync? I might need to adjust something.
Security status. Dropping in a security status at maximum corruption is a tricky thing. This is a bit of a challenge for us. We've already had a security status of the space that they were attacking. Pirates will be able to do the same thing when they can push corruption to the maximum level. For a low-sec system that has reached maximum corruption, that system will begin to feel more like nullsec. We'll accomplish this with a simple package of effects, which allows the use of interdictions, bubble launchers, bomb launchers, and heavy interdictor bubbles. These three key items are really what tends to separate the feeling of low security space from the feeling of null security space. It is only these three things that become active. All of the rest of the rules that apply to low security space still apply, which makes this rule set a little bit more lightweight and easy for us to deploy to systems dynamically through these insurgencies as we need to. Similarly, for a...
So that's really important, okay? Well, yeah, it has a trig. All of the shipcasters have trig spheres on it because they're using trig technology to create the shipcasters. So yes, basically, if a low-sec system becomes corrupted, it allows bubbles and bombs and such like that. However, as she points out, I think she does later, other things are not affected, right? It's actually really more interesting when it gets to the high-sec side. So we'll keep listening.
High-sec system. As the corruption level increases in that system, a high-sec system, when it reaches maximum level, may begin to feel more like a low-sec system. And we accomplish this by simply making aggression against a player ship result in only a suspect timer and not a criminal timer. Concord only responds to criminal timers, and so that means that they will not come after you if you shoot a player ship, but players will be able to respond. This is a bit more like low-sec. However, criminal timers are still possible. If you attack a capsule of a player, for example, which also in low-sec generates a criminal timer, then Concord will still respond, making...
So in high-sec, in low-sec, if you attack a player, you get a suspect flag. But if you attack a player's pod that you're not allowed to attack, you get a criminal flag. Normally, this doesn't really matter unless you then proceed to jump into high-sec before that timer's over, in which case you get concorded. But it is true that that happens. So when this gets translated over to high-sec, what it means is that you can make a gate camp, you can kill ships, you can do whatever you want and cause suspect flags. But if you pod someone, it's still a criminal flag, and therefore you will still get concorded.
These corrupted high-sec systems feel even a bit more different than low-sec. They are kind of a very unique type of space. On the flip side, as suppression increases, we also wanted to make that feel uniquely impactful in the same way that corruption does. And suppression being the law enforcement of a system, we are largely seeking for that to feel more secure. As the militia players complete activities and they increase the suppression of a system, there will also be a different set of effects that suppression can apply. And note that these are not mutually exclusive. We could have level 5 suppression and level 5 corruption effects in a system at the same exact time. Suppression is the law enforcement effect on a system, just how well locked down the system is. It is the suppression of free movement and everything else that the criminals make use of. As suppression increases, various things will happen. Concord will start paying a little bit more for pirate bounties in those systems. The militias will get bonuses, even including the possibility of fairly potent PvP bonuses, such as an increased weapon scram range, which will really change the nature of PvP in these systems.
I wonder if that's going to be only available for the faction warfare people or not. Because, like, as a corrupted person, I kind of want them to get that much suppression so I can use it. But something tells me that's going to be not available for the pirates. Because just like how the pirates get additional loot drops or whatever it was, like, there seems to be benefits that only affect... Which means that there's going to be reasons to be in faction warfare, potentially, than before. Unless it's a blanket effect. It could just be a blanket effect. I wonder if Concord event happens, will they go after suspects too? Like, if somebody gets Concorded, do they then go after the suspects? No. That's, I mean, like, in the same way, if I loot a can, and therefore I'm suspect, and somebody else ganks somebody, and therefore Concord shows up, Concord does not go after the suspect.
And at level 5, they'll even secure gates and stations more than they normally would be. When suppression hits level 5, the security forces in the system will attempt to lock down the system. And they'll do this by deploying upgraded sentry guns to gates and stations in the system to make travel a little bit safer for law-abiding citizens. These upgraded sentry guns will be quite aggressive at punishing criminal behavior, and they hit a lot harder than your standard sentry gun. So the goal here being it's really hard to actually gate camp these systems if these sentry guns have been put in place. As systems are fully corrupted, the pirates will score a point towards their progress in the insurgency. And as systems are fully suppressed, the militia factions will score a point towards their side in the insurgency. When the anti-pirate factions have reached their target point value, then the pirate FOB will become vulnerable. Similar to Upwell structures, this has a single reinforcement timer, so players will have to shoot the shields and then return to destroy the structure, giving pirates a last-ditch chance to attempt to protect it. On the pirate side, if they hit their goal, they pack up their loot and leave. This corruption will also begin to spread. These systems which the pirates are attacking, those systems that are under active insurgency, will grow naturally. As you, as a pirate player, increase the corruption of the system, it will reach the spread threshold. When the spread threshold is reached for an individual system, it will preferentially spread adjacent to that system if it can. If it can't spread from that system, then it will still spread, but it will be adjacent to another system in the insurgency zone.
Oh, that's
so
really
you
cool.
always wind up with...
Okay, so that's really important because that means, like, so you have the heart of the insurgency and then it leads out for 3 jumps. But under what they described originally, if you corrupted like one jump out, it wouldn't do anything because it already has spread into every direction once. But what she's saying is that it will spread out, but it'll just use an adjacent system instead of itself if it needs to. So yes, and it will spread into high sec. Absolutely. It just can't. When she says it can't spread out, it means null sec usually. Or I think there are certain high sec systems that it can't spread into.
Of systems, which are in the insurgency, which is the dynamic war zone that we've looked to create. What we were really trying to do with this was create a system where, unlike faction warfare, where the set of systems in the war zone are very static, we wanted to see what it would be like to create a war zone which naturally changed over time and was a bit more flexible and a bit different every time it spawned, making a lot of use of local geography to make it particularly unique and interesting. The other thing that we really wanted to accomplish with these insurgencies is we wanted to create a war feature that was discrete. In faction warfare right now, that is an eternal war. Those players are going to push and pull on those systems probably until the end of time. But with the insurgency...
I love how she puts that. They're probably going to push and pull on that until the end of time. Heat death of the universe. We're going to still be fighting over Tama and Fleet.
Insurgency system. A set of system spawns, points are pushed up towards completion, and once one faction has won, they get a bonus for winning, and then the insurgency ends. When insurgency starts, it will choose a system where the FOB will spawn. Once it's chosen a system where the FOB will spawn, it then chooses the initial set of systems that will have insurgency content. Those will be the systems that players will need to compete over first when it becomes active. However, when the FOB is originally placed, the insurgency is in a forecasting state. The pirates are still setting up, the raid hasn't started, the security forces haven't been able to bust down the door yet. This is the period where we let you as the player know where the insurgency is going to be, giving you a chance to get your ships into position or out of harm's way, depending on how you want to interact with it, before the actual insurgency begins. In the war zone, the insurgency is intended to be a destabilizing force. If the pirate factions are unequal, then eventually we will likely see that one side being losing most of their space, with the other side being particularly dominant. The insurgency is meant to come in and disrupt that. When one faction has more systems, the insurgency will prefer to attack that faction space.
So GM, so it starts with the 3-system spread, but then as you get things fully corrupted, it'll continue to spread out further. It'll get one more jump out. But also what she just said there is kind of important. 1 second.
When one faction has more systems, the insurgency will prefer to attack that faction space. And if...
So what that means is, so this is actually kind of an interesting thing, is like every front line is adjacent to an enemy system, right? It's either adjacent to an enemy front line or it's adjacent to an enemy high-sec system. By definition, that's what makes it a front line. So what they're saying is that like if Caldari have more systems than the Gallente, then it'll prefer the Caldari side of the of that frontline pair, or of the frontline pairs, for the target system for the fob. However, because the fob spreads 3 jumps, by definition, both sides of that front line will be covered by the insurgency. It's just the side with that's doing the best in the war at the current time will be the more likely to be the heart of the insurgency.
If the pirates are successful in their insurgency, they will actually steal a system from the faction when they do. When that system is stolen, the pirates will have sovereign ownership of it for a limited period of time.
Hold on, what?
The system is stolen, the pirates will have...
So when a system is stolen, one more time.
...faction space. And if the pirates are successful in their insurgency, they will actually steal a system from the faction when they do. When that system is...
Okay, so if the pirates are successful, then they will steal... One more time.
They will actually steal a system from the...
A system, okay? Ouch, how's it going? So when they are successful, they will steal a system. So I imagine, this is not guaranteed, and, you know, obviously Sitonia can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like the heart of the system, the fob, is the system that will be captured. So if we can go and capture 5 different systems around the insurgency, we win the insurgency. And so then for a period of time, that system is no longer a faction warfare system. It belongs to the pirates until that insurgency is over. That's my understanding.
The faction when they do. When that system is stolen, the pirates will have sovereign ownership of it for a limited period of time until they decide to focus elsewhere and they simply let it go. So
when the next insurgency starts, that's when the previous insurgency's capture point gets given up.
When they let that system go, it will return to its previous owner. However,
I run the invited. When I say we, I'm talking about the pirates. We can just... Although I guess I kind of slip in between. Sometimes I talk about that way with Galmiel still. So, yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point, Lazy One. This, speaking of fair points, let's listen to this, because this is actually different than what they explained last time. And this makes so much more sense than before.
When they let that system go, it will return to its previous owner. However, it returns to the previous owner with very little control over the system, as the iHub will be vulnerable to attack immediately by the opposing faction. So if the owning faction wants to re-secure that system, they will need to defend that iHub and plex the system back down. If you decide...
Okay, so what does that mean? That means that, okay, let's say we're fighting over Devon, right? The Gallente own it, and the Caldari are attacking it in this scenario, right? But the Caldari, you know, it's a front line. The Caldari have a 20% contested value, so they still need to plex it 80% up to make it vulnerable. and then an insurgency happens. We go and take over 5 of the systems and take that system. It doesn't reset it. It's the opposite of resetting it. That's what they said originally. They said that when the system's given back, it'll be stable, which would mean that the defender would want it to be taken. Sure, yeah, come on in. People want it to be taken, right? Because then it would come back to them stable. It would help the defender. That doesn't make sense. This is the opposite. If we can take the system, then when it gets back to them, it's vulnerable. So if that system of Devon was at 20% when we captured it, when it goes back to the Gallente, it'll be vulnerable. So what that means is that it behooves the attackers potentially to help the corruption as opposed to the defenders, which I think makes a lot more sense. What do you want to, what's up? You just want to say hi?
Yeah, I just want to come back on.
Okay, we'll just let him be there. All right, let's finish this up.
Decide to align with the pirate faction, there are a number of great rewards in store for you. Both factions have brand new LP stores with rewards that are only available from Insurgency.
So this is really small here. We can look at a picture that's bigger later on, but here we can already see that assuming that these values are anywhere close to accurate, these values match up with the numbers that we saw with the Serpentis capital stuff. So, you know, I've been talking about, we don't know with those bonuses and like with those big boost in the cost of things, with the big boost in cost, this isn't distracting at all. With the big boost to cost that we saw with the Serpentis ships, I was asking whether or not that was like a soft lock on them or if this was the new standard. This appears to be the new standard. However, when we get to HOBOLEAKS, we'll see the other half of that equation. That's not the full. That's not the full story.
Content. The Angels have the new Azariel, the Angel Faction Titan, which is truly beautiful. And in the Guristas LP store, you can find all of the Guristas capital blueprints, sub-capital blueprints, Guristas skins, and more. With the pirate insurgencies, we've intentionally designed the system to be open and sandboxy and dynamic and interesting, and I can't wait to see what you do with it and what stories you make.
All right. So let's see if there's a couple more points in here that are probably worth pulling out that wasn't in there. When is he joining COE? I can't get him to play Eve. We got to get him to play Eve for more than like an hour in order to get him to join COE. Okay. Are you going to be okay? I got to be able to do my show, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. So let's see. What we can see here is probably one of the new sites. And where is it? Okay, here's a big point. Ready? Pirate Aligned Capsuleers will also have free access to the Zarzak system and will be able to dock at the Jovian megastructure, the Fulcrum, gaining certain market and industry benefits. Now, I interpret that like certain market and industry benefits, like it's not just saying, oh yeah, and it has a market and industry. This is saying, this seems to suggest that there will be bonuses in the Fulcrum that are beyond just a normal NPC station, which is perfect. This is exactly what I've been asking for months, for years. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, like, Flea Harvey Oswald 07 to you. You know, the Pochfin people are probably pissed unless this gets moved over to them. But will there be reactions in the Fulcrum? I don't think so. Probably not, but maybe. So the point is that it seems to me that if you're allowed to use the services in the Fulcrum, you will get the bonuses that are more similar to like being in a structure, like a player structure, than an NPC station. And this is a big thing that, as I said, I've been asking for a long time, that, you know, those of us who want to work for the NPC groups, you know, we often want to live in the facilities in Pochfin, in Faction Warfare, and now in Zarzak. But we feel gimped because all of these extra bonuses are on the NPC structures. And now, and so we have to give that up in order to live in NPC stations. But this is a big step in the right direction. I hope that they roll this out again for Pochfin and other places too. But, hopefully I'm not misunderstanding what they're saying here. At the same time, those choosing to align with Empire Militia opposing the pirates can play as the heroes and enforce the law, stamp out pirate threat, and gain loyalty points for the militia that they have enlisted with. Okay, so should a Capsuleer have -2 standings or higher with either the Angel Cartel or the Guristas, they can enlist with those pirate groups in much of the same way that enlistment works now with the Faction Warfare Direct Enlistment. So in Direct Enlistment, you have to have a personal, unmodified standings to the Empire that you're joining of 0 or above. Otherwise, you can't use Direct Enlistment. If you want to enlist in an Empire Faction Warfare group and you don't have that much, you just have to join a Faction Warfare corporation. And Faction Warfare corporations average out their standings between the whole corporation, and that average has to be above 0. And with a bunch of those people doing Faction Warfare and therefore gaining faction standings from getting like promotions and stuff, generally speaking, Faction Warfare groups are pretty good at keeping their score above the threshold and not getting kicked out of Faction Warfare. It does happen. It's kind of funny when it does, but, you know, it's pretty good. In this sense, if you want to direct enlist, you're going to have -2, or we would have to have a corporation that allows it to be above -2 with the Angels or the Guristas. The easy way to do that is by getting standings with the Guristas and the Angels, which brings me to another piece of news that I forgot to pull up. Today's patch notes. The Angel Cartel and the Guristas Pirates are preparing to allow Capsuleers to enlist in their soon-to-be-launched insurgency campaigns and decided to extend Capsuleers the opportunity for absolution from the past transgressions if they show that they are willing to work for them. The base standings increase from successfully completing the Angel Cartel and Guristas Epic Arc has been increased from 30% to 45%. This is huge. The standings increase from the Epic Arc is already mega big, but like, this will allow you to fix your standings from like absolutely garbage to functional in like 2 different runs of the Epic Arc, which is important because if you look, the cooldown for running the Epic Arc has been reduced from 90 days to 14 days. But the thing is that how many days left do we have before the expansion? I think we have, well, we have got more than 14 days, but not more than 28 days. So what that means is basically you can run it 1, maybe 2 more times between now and the expansion. However, it does say that this temporary amnesty will end in December. 26 days. There you go. But who's counting, right? So if you do it today, you can do it twice. If you've already done it, then you'll have your cooldown shrunk. So like Ash did it like a week or 2 ago. And therefore, Ash could actually redo the Epic Arc today. So, and we had somebody who did the Epic Arc for a second time, and he said that, like, he went from negative to, like, +5. Like, he can run level 4 agents for Angels now. This is a huge boost. As a side effect, by the way, I would keep very close track on the prices of Gilas, Cinnables, Domination Target Painters, and I don't know what the Guristas module is, but those are the things that come from these Epic Arcs. So if more than normal people, more than a normal amount of people are doing them, the Dread ECM module, that's right. So if more than the normal amount of people are doing those, we could theoretically see those prices become suppressed, even if it's not like that much of an impact as speculation occurs. We could see that it's a pretty decent time to maybe pick up some spare Cinnable BPCs. Or Gila's BPCs. Those are very valuable, obviously. Yeah. So, and this will be until December. So even if you can't get your standings fixed by the 14th, shortly after the 14th, you should be able to fix it for good. Yeah, the modules will almost certainly drop. Yeah, the ships won't change much. Most of the costs are in the mats. That is true, but that's what I'm saying, like a little bit. You might want to check to see if you want to pick up some of the BPCs, right? That's what I'm saying. There are no faction or pirate BPOs in the game. Okay. What else? Oh, they actually cover it right here. Capsuleers who align with the Angel Cartel will end up in a mutual war with the other faction warfare militia-aligned Capsuleers who represent the Minmatar Republic and Amar Empire. Those who choose to align with the Guristas will be in a mutual war with Capsuleers enlisted in the Caldari and Gallente faction warfare militia. So what this means is that those areas of high-sec space, it says, consequently, Capsuleers aligned with these pirate factions will find themselves being intercepted and attacked by Empire Navy NPCs for the two empires that they're at war with when they enter high-sec. So it pays to stay vigilant at all times. So that means Angel Cartel loyalists will not be able to go to Amar very easily. And likewise, Guristas agents won't, like Guristas militiamen will have difficulty getting buying things in Jita in the same way that like Galmil does today. Which is, I mean, you can always use an alt. It's not that big of a deal, but you know, it is true. Nick, I don't know what that is, but I think I appreciate it. All right. Part of the corruption. When a private... is there anything else in here? Granted in space, greater loot drops from PvP kills to more complicated effects that give the feeling of reduction in security status to the system itself. Maximum level, Concord response. That's the stuff that she talked about. Here we can see another good graph of the insurgency. And so we can see like next insurgency in, so this is it. So we can see like, here is where the insurgency is going to be, right? Like there isn't an active insurgency right now in this video, in this image, but we're going to go with 2 hours and 28 minutes from now, this insurgency is going to go active. That is, I think, what's happening in this picture. We don't want pirates in that constellation. Well, you know, that's actually one of the funny things is that, like, eventually, if we're going to want to hit certain systems as pirates, we're going to need to help make others, like, if we want to corrupt, say, Heck, for example, we're going to need to make sure that the front lines are pushed back far enough, you know? So we might manipulate the war zone to make it so that the front lines line up correctly. Suppression. I feel like this is the... Isn't that the same picture? That might be the same picture. Okay, so that's the same stuff. That's the fob becoming vulnerable, becomes corrupted geographically. All the same stuff. Anything special in this one? See, this says that the next insurgency is in... is that 25 minutes, 50 seconds then? Huh. I'm kind of curious as to where this is. Or what exactly that can mean. Oh, it's hours, minutes, seconds. So this is saying in 25 minutes and 50 seconds, the next insurgency will begin. So it's down to the second. So probably that means that you're going to have a limited window of time to set up, not like a day or two. Pirate insurgencies. Yeah, in fact, there is no day mark according to Satonia, so it'll be within hours of the warning. And then, of course, there's the mass test tomorrow, which we will be streaming live, and you guys need to be there. We need as many people participating in tomorrow's live event as possible on both faction warfare side and the insurgency side. So if you're in faction warfare right now, we need you there to help out with the faction warfare side. And if you're not, then you should join the insurgency and help out with the insurgency side. 17. And yeah, we'll see more about that later. Now then, let's get to the real stuff. No. Dang it. Hold on. Nope. My dark mode isn't working today. Oh well, we're gonna have to go with lights. Bright white, sorry. Okay, so I'm so afraid of doing PvP. The thing is that, like, don't be afraid of doing PvP. The key here is to manage your risk. You do stuff in small ships that are cheap, and, oh, Dutch, we are going to be raiding the war zone from the shadows in order to become legends. So, I'll let you figure out that one. It's a code! So, Singularity is reopening for 2 hours. Only 2 hours. Okay, so let's look into what we got here. We've got a lot of different things. First of all, we got the fob. We can see that there's the fob. We saw the picture of the fob in the videos. In a little bit. We have the new alligator is going to be available, and we can of course see the stats and everything. The blueprints, so we got all of the details about like how to build it. Those are going to be below. The Azrael, which still has the old picture. I assume that's going to be changed eventually. That's a stand-in image. Let's see the quote. Fleeing the wrath of the unholy legions, we chanced upon the ruins of heaven and knew that we had found our home among the cursed stars. We took our rest by crumbling monuments to the ancient truths and repaired our arms in the broken halls of science divine. When once again we took up the fight, it was with the power and wisdom of the lords of this lost realm at our backs. Here in Utopia was formed the compact of the book and our might. Our law and no other shall guide and command us, as only the law of the fallen guided those who came before us. With the speed of the Dramiel we shall strike. With the strength of the Macarial we shall rule. With the power of the Azrael we shall gather the lost to us. Ooh. I will try to PvP. I need to get over my fears. Yeah. Hey, whole new Tristan is a great way. I'll be pressing the /kill character ID button on anyone who tries to test the Abyss. What about carriers, man? That is the one, like, honest argument about Sissy, which is that, like, it kind of sucks that you have to learn how to use a multi-billion-isk ship with brand new mechanics that you've never played with anywhere else before for the first time live. You know? Like, I wouldn't mind being able to use Sissy for carriers and super carrier, you know, like that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I get it. The first event starts with small figurates. I think there'll be hacking events. I could be wrong, though. Keep in mind when things progress. Yeah, we'll look at that. Now, next. Oh, here we get into the super exciting things. This is something that we didn't expect. Abyssal Vorton tuning system. And this is part of a big theme of what we see here. We're seeing what looks like some sort of pass on Edencom ships. Not like a huge balance pass, but more like a function pass, right? So we're getting a couple new Vorton tuning systems, new mutaplasmids for those Vorton tuning systems, these are your low slot damage mods, like heat sinks or whatever. This is the Edencom version of that. But we're also getting a faction and an officer Vorton tuning system, the Consortium faction Vorton tuning system, and the Kashia modified Vorton tuning system as what looks like an officer mod. Cassia being, of course, Cassia Valkynier, the head of Edencom and Aegis. Can't you just, guys, disable, remove Abyss-related items? Well, so, that'd be an interesting idea. Turn all Abyssal filaments into, like, expired Abyssal filaments, but only on Sissy. I could definitely see them accidentally patch that over at one point, and that would be bad. Okay, so we got corporate outpost beacons, medium corporate outpost beacon, large corporate outpost beacon, extra large corporate outpost beacon. That's new. So if we go back No. If we go back to the news from last week, maybe? No. It's the, was it the forums? Where is it? Yeah, here. It only has large, medium, small, and scout. And these are the same nomenclatures that we use in faction warfare. So if large is battleship, then that means that these insurgencies include capital-sized sites. It is worth noting that these beacons, or these capital-sized sites, potentially, do still have a 30-kilometer range for capturing. And there will still be rats that need to be destroyed in order to let it progress, more likely than not. So, oh! Okay. It's just the open compound? Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, arguably those are capital compounds, but that's good to know. Okay, so there's not like a gate or anything. Okay, that's a lot. That's interesting. Thank you for letting me know that. So, open complexes in high sec. No. In normal faction warfare, an open plex is one that has no acceleration gate at all. It's the same as a normal large, but it's just you warp to it, and the center point is the button. There's no gate at all. Anybody can warp to it. So this is not the same as a battlefield, which would be considered a large site with like -30, which we do not see any equivalent of in the files here. So then we start seeing a bunch of little doodads. This deep space, we have rich asteroid survey, contains the location and survey contents of particular rare and scheduled secluded mining location for the contested space of the Caldari and Gallente war zone. Such surveys would fetch a high price from the unaffiliated mining outfits looking to make a fortune, and pirate groups seeking a great location to set up self-sufficient outposts or an ambush. Versus pirates will reward capsuleers who bring these items to their laundering centers. And then there's corporate bearer bonds, and classified prototype blueprints, and corporate security briefings. Those are the Garistas items. Okay? And then on the Angel side, we have encoded corporate investment plans, holstered rich asteroid survey, unregistered corporate bonds, and confidential prototype blueprint. So these are and corporate defense briefing. So these are all very, like, it's the same stuff, but just themed different for between the Garistas and the Angels. These have a base price. So if we see here, we have 4 million ISK each for the corporate bonds. Looks like 4 million ISK each for all of them as a base price. But of course, we're going to want to turn them into laundering centers more likely than not. It does make me wonder what you do with the Empire equivalent. There's another site for the other side. What is it called? Anti-pirate security post. So I wonder if these things can be turned into an anti-security post or anti-piracy post too, but we'll have to see. And then down here we see encrypted Upwell Consortium data cache. This data cache is salvaged from an Upwell Consortium ship, could be a host to a whole trove of valuable information that would be of interest to the Angel Cartel and Garistas pirates. Some examples are corporate investment plans, blah, 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 blah. So this can be turned into either the Garistas or the Angels, right? And then this quantum encrypted key is emblazoned with the logo of the Garistas pirates. It appears to bypass corporation security protocols and allow a ship passage through the acceleration gate to the bonus room of a corporate outpost raid. So these sites, the corporate outpost beacons, I was just talking about how you have to be within 30 feet or whatever, or 30 kilometers. It seems like there's going to be a secret bonus room in some of these sites that can be accessed if you have these warehouse raid keys. Including So there's two. So there's the DED Amar Minmatar warehouse raid, the DED Calgal warehouse raid, and then the Angels and the Garistas Pirates warehouse raids. So, yeah. Do you know if the Angel Cartel and Garistas are automatically blue to each other? I don't think that they are like mechanically blue to each other, but we will have to learn how to deal with each other in the Fulcrum, right? Because we both are going to be operating out of there. I hope it was a mean reference to the bonus room. Well, no, the bonus room is a thing that exists. I mean, like it's in several of the missions, so it'll be interesting to see how complicated these corporate outpost raids are. This data sequence salvaged from a Garistas pirate ship could be a host of blah blah blah. Caldari State will reward capsuleers who bring this item to their state counterinsurgency operation facility. That's what it is. So you kill Garistas and Angels rats in those areas. You get the doodads from there, and then that's what you can turn into the state counterinsurgency operation facility. So that seems to suggest, we were talking about this before, that we didn't know whether or not the items were going to be the same items that had to be turned into both places or different items. This looks like it's going to be different items. And it also looks like that the Garistas are obvious. The Garistas and Angels are going to have to bring it to probably where the fob is located, or at least the system with the fob. Whereas it looks like the Caldari, the Garistas, and all them have critical facilities in their home HQs, which are all in HiSec. So for the Caldari, it'd be Anamon. For the Gallente, it'd be Intaki. For the Amar, it would be Mechator. And for the Mimitar, it would be Ammo. So basically, allies of those groups, allies of the Empire's faction warfare militiamen will collect these doodads from running the sites or killing the rats or whatever, and then bringing it to these facilities. Satori Horigu Epistematics Corporation, which is the new, that's the Deathless Group Corporation. Likewise, this is the Angel stuff. And you are going to get a laundering reward crate or a insurgency reward crate, depending on who you turn it into. I don't think we have any idea what might be in those reward crates yet. The Mining Fleet Ambush Beacon, that's the one that they said is going to be like a static site. Yeah, Ammo should be unable to be invaded or insurrected because it's a headquarters system, I think. I don't know. Maybe not. It would be really hilarious if we were able to take a headquarters system, or at least corrupt it. Let's see. There's the Garistas fob. There's the BPCs for the Fortong tuning system blueprint. Now, just because a BPC exists, this doesn't mean that this BPC is going to drop or BPO is going to drop. Every item, I think, needs to be, or not every item, but items that can be reprocessed or whatever, they have blueprints associated with them, even if those blueprints are never available to the player base. So I do not know right now whether or not these are droppable or not. It does require a Tech 2 in order to build them, if I remember correctly. We can see when we get there. So it does have like the stats to be a realistic build, but that still doesn't mean it's necessarily going to drop, but it might be a reward in these crates. The crates will have various mustache cosmetics, everything but cat ears, right? And then the Deathless Circle Insurgency Loyalty. That's the ones that we've been working with. So, and then we have the rats. We have Angel Roaming Spawners. We have Zohar's Chosen. So these are going to be like, so we have Lookout, which is, do we have multiple Cinnables? Okay, yeah. So We'll have to check out the stats. But usually when we have these different names, the names are like three different different ranks of power, right? So my assumption would be that the lookout Macarial will be a normal one, where the Zohar chosen Macarial will be like the elite one, right? Yeah, Jeff. Angel roaming spawners, insurgency, yeah. And then the Garistas. If you notice though, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, so for the Angels and the Garistas, we have battleships. But if we scroll down, I don't think that there's Empire battleships, but it's hard to say what that's going to be. So as insurgency increases, these rats are going to start showing up and patrolling in the area. Now, this is interesting. The corporate outpost raid, which is that site that we keep looking at, right? It's got different sizes. It's got different numbers associated with it because, you know, we've got, here's Pirate 1. Down here is, there should be a Pirate 5. Either way. You know, we've got -1 sites. We've got -5 sites. We've got all these different sizes and stuff. So here are the spawners. But what I find interesting here is we have Mordu rats. So one of the major defenders, probably on the the Caldari Gallente side, is going to be Mordu, potentially. So it would seem. There also could be, here's a thought, okay? One of two things I think is happening here, okay? So here are the Upwell safeguards, Upwell Thunderchilds, etc. So what I think that we see here is, you remember when during the FanFest, they said that as it becomes suppressed, then Edencom will show up to defend it? Yeah. None of the faction warfare guys were happy about that, because a lot of the faction warfare guys don't have a good relationship with Edencom, because those are two totally separate mechanics, more or less. And so the idea that like suddenly like their positive action would cause Edencom, that's actually just asking them to cause a bigger pain in the butt for them, theoretically. So rather than having Edencom, they went with the Upwell Consortium as kind of the neutral agent, right? So we have the Garmer, the Orthrus. So these are the Mordu. These are likely the ones spawned by Mordu, which this explains why it's Mordu, right? Because Mordu's Legion are the guards of Upwell Consortium. So it makes sense that if Upwell Consortium is the agency that's operating all of this, Mordu is a major force that will deal with that, right? There is a possibility that this is also part of a, like some of these items might be part of a limited event that happens as things come out. But so far, I think it's safe to assume that what we're looking at here is the full scale, like, insurgency mechanic, not like a temporary thing. So yeah, we have Safeguard Thunderchild. We've got all the way level. So it looks like Upwell would probably be the standard item, and then Consortium would be the elite. Which makes sense, because maybe the Consortium stuff is where you might get the Consortium faction modules. Upwell roaming. And then here we have Mordu Frigate, Mordu Destroyer. And these, so if you look, these here, the descriptions say that they're roaming. This cruiser has been hired by the Upwell Consortium to protect its interests in patrolling the system for pirate threats. So that implies that these guys here, the safeguards and the lookouts and all them, those are the ones that show up if the system becomes suppressed or corrupted. Whereas these other ones down here that do not include battleships appear to be the ones for the actual sites themselves. We've got, because, you know, it's got a much more generic description. Yeah. Insurgency Pirate Destroyer, Insurgency Roaming Enforcers. So yeah, the Insurgency Roaming Enforcers would be the patrols when systems become suppressed or corrupted, and the Insurgency Pirate Frigates are likely, or, you know, the Insurgency Pirate guys, or Insurgency Mordu or whatever. These are the occupants of the actual sites themselves that get run. And then here's the Pirate 5 Mordu spawner I was looking for earlier. Well, this is because a lot of this stuff is still stand-in stuff, right? Like, don't worry about it. Oh, some of them have faction items and some of them don't. Well, yeah, it's the new stuff, right? That's probably a mistake because it, like, normally pirate ships, like an NPC doesn't have the faction item. Okay, fine. You can come say hi. And then they have the ore plinth and the upwell plinth. One of the things that I find about these plinths. Here we got 30-kilometer medium corporate capture point, 30-kilometer large corporate capture point, and 30-kilometer extra large corporate capture point. So that's why I was talking about the fact that it looks like these sites have a capture point that requires you to be within 30 kilometers of. And there's a new thing. I don't think it's here, but there's a thing that says basically that it can detect NPCs as a thing. Here's the Upwell Safeguard Sentry Gun. Yes. So the Upwell Fortification Bustard. The Upwell Fortification Bustard is likely the thing that deploys the sentry guns. Okay, you're a little bit much. And then, so here we have even more rats that are potentially for the sites themselves. Tackling, normal rats, etc. It's probably like this exists so that way it brings to mind what will actually pin you down. So you'll want to kill the ones with tackling first, almost certainly. And it looks like, it goes destroyer, frigate, destroyer, all the way up to battlecruiser. Hey, Punch, giving one more gifted sub. Thank you so much, man. That's up to 6 today, right? Wow. Hey, can you tell Punch thank you for all that?
Thank you.
Oh, memberships, not subs.
Thanks for the membership.
I twitched for, or I twitched for a second. So I guess his mom is the pretty parent then. Stop twitching. Okay. So I gotta go into this stuff, man. I gotta talk about this real quick. This is important. So this is something that we just found out about today. Remember how I kept on saying that there's another half to the whole BPC or the blueprint thing? Well, look, we have new costs for the Vanquisher, the Moloch, and the Komodo. Yeah. So let's look at these changes because they're kind of interesting. I haven't quite fully crunched them yet because the problem is when they change these kinds of things, it's always kind of really hard to keep track of what's what because, the diff doesn't look very clean and they usually swap the order of things. So you have to kind of match things up. But one of the things that we can notice is so there's the Clone Vat Bay, 1500 Capital Clone Vat Bay becomes 500 Capital Clone Vat Bay. 4700 Capital Doomsday Weapon Mount becomes 500 Capital Doomsday Weapon Mount. So the cost to building this thing is going to be probably brought down by a huge amount. However, it's not actually all... Do I even know what the hell I'm talking about? Hold on. No, I'm an idiot. I looked at it backwards last time. So yeah, it looks like everything has either stayed the same or been slashed. But you know what the biggest one here is? This thing right here. 8,000 Serpentis modified capital microprocessors. If you've ever wondered why Serpentis capitals are so amazingly expensive, even compared to other faction capitals, there it is, right there. Serpentis modified capital microprocessors. They're relatively rare, and you need 8,000 of them for a single dread. These are the things that make everything cost more. Well, if we go over here, we can see that it only takes 100 of them now. So if you're holding on to some of these, you might want to see if you can sell them off quickly before they drop in value. But more importantly, what we're seeing here is a massive, massive reduction in the cost of how to build these ships. And but we do see, yeah, and a reduction in the build time as well. So what this means is that while the BPC is now much harder to get, much more expensive as far as LP goes, and IS goes, more of the price of the ship has been shifted to the value of the BPC from the value of the build cost. And I think that this is important when you get into the other capitals, like for instance, the Azrael, right? So, yeah. Do they only drop from exploration? You know, I don't even remember where all they drop from now. Oh, you know what? Let me try that. Maybe? This is 1.4 with a split of, sorry, that 100,000 million billion trillion. That seems like a lot. I imagine Jeet is not the best place to get the, oh yeah, okay. It's the absence of enhanced Neuralink protection cells on the market that is causing it to cost that much, I think, because that's, well, that's 9 billion there. 37 billion worth of, yeah. So this is the old price, right? Yeah. Let's look at the new price. Wow. Wow. That's like a quarter of the price. 236 billion? Wow. Now, obviously, you know, you're not going to actually build it at this rate, right? Because you're almost certainly going to build it in a facility with, you know, bonuses, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to build it at like its absolute maximum cost. But yeah, that means that its price has been cut by basically a quarter. Also, that is the Vanquisher, which is, that's the Dread, right? The Moloch, oh, the Moloch also got, wait. No, these are Titans. These are all the Titans. These are the Titans. That's what it is. That's why there's so many capital hard points. That makes more sense. Yeah, so these are all of the faction Titans. The Vanquisher, the Moloch, the Komodo, and the Azrael. So all of the faction Titans have had this happen to them. So let's look by comparison to the Komodo. The Komodo's old price was 296 billion, which is closer to being what it was before. That's how much those extra things, those extra doodads cost. Is crazy. And now it's going to cost 232 billion. So a much smaller reduction, obviously, because let's be frank, Serpentis capitals were way overpriced just based on how they were introduced to the game. But it looks like across the board, the Titans have had their prices slashed to about 230 to 250 billion ISK base build price. How about the Cayman? Wait. The Cayman, no, that's the Dread, right? Yeah. We don't have any Dreads on here. It's only, I only see changes to the Titans. Now remember, these things cost like 25 million LP and what, 125 billion ISK just to get the BPC? So that's what I mean by like the value has been shifted to the BPC from the build cost. Oh, what? Yeah, more easily see what. Well, yeah. So how much is the Angel one? we suspect that it's going to be roughly the same. If only because the picture that they showed of the Garistas Dread on the LP store is the same as the Serpentis Dread. So we got to assume that the Angel will be well, no, the Moloch and the Komodo, the Moloch is not available on an LP store. But I imagine that the Moloch and the Komodo will be that like 150 billion-isk that you see for the Vanquisher. Let's go back to patch notes real quick. Yes, it'll be the same for parts. Not exactly the same, obviously, because it'll take different races doodads, but same, you know, formula. So yeah, 150 million LP and 150 billion ISK for the Titan. 100 million LP and 100 billion ISK for the Super Carrier, and 25 million LP and 25 billion ISK for the Dreadnought. How much Plex would be needed for an Angel Titan? How much is Plex right now? I mean, call it like... So if you assume the build cost of being about 200 billion, then this means that the total build cost would be what? 350 billion? Yeah? Let's see. 350, 000, 000. Yeah. Divided by 5? That feels wrong. 70,000? That seems... I don't know. I don't know how... Okay, well then... Maybe that is right. 70,000 Plex? Or 70... I'm sure I have a 0 wrong somewhere here. That's true. This isn't even counting the Insurgency LP cost. That's true. Okay. So that's a big deal. And then, okay, so this is kind of one of those things that we were talking about when it came to the updating of the Vorton weapons and Edencom weapons. Not only do we see those new damage mods coming out and the mutaplasmids for them, but what they're doing is the wormhole effects that affect missiles, the missile stats, also will now affect the Vorton projector's stats in the same way, right? So you can see like the black hole bonus now has a Vorton projector explosion velocity bonus, and the Magnetar has a Vorton projector explosion radius. Yeah, explosion radius of explosion velocity. Yeah. So that's for the different wormhole effects. Now, it was brought to my attention, and so I'm going to bring it up to CCP's attention, that while this is all good and all, what about the implants that affect missiles? Can we get that to also affect Vorton projectors? That'd be neat. Here we got confirmation of some of the stuff about the alligator. 500 bonus to medium combat? Hold on. Okay, yeah, that's the same as the Gila. 12.5% bonus to drone micro warp drive velocity. That's... There we go. Oh, is that on the destroyer too? No, of course not. Why would that be there? Wait, what's the difference? Oh, capitalization. Don't want to overbuff them. They got pretty big boosts this patch. I mean, that's fair. I feel bad that the destroyers don't have... Yeah, Pyrolancia does affect them now. That's a good point. That's a good point. The Pyrolancia now adds like a 6, 3, 5, or 8%, 9%, whatever Pyrolancia does. It now affects Vorton projectors as well, which is really nice. So, but I really, really would like to see this drone micro warp drive velocity bonus being given to the destroyers too. It really doesn't make any sense for them to not have it, but we've talked about this before. I don't think we see anything that we didn't already know in these stats. I don't think there's anything too fancy in here. So there are new stats. Allow in fully corrupted low sec, allow in fully corrupted high sec, and capture proximity interactives only. So basically, the first flag is they're giving this flag to things like bombs, which we'll see, which allows bombs to be used in low sec when it's fully corrupted. Likewise, there are things that might be only allowed in fully corrupted high sec systems, and as opposed to normal high sec systems. And then the final one basically just says whether or not the capture point also detects NPCs as well as players. Now, here's where more of the interesting stuff starts to come in. We have a bunch of different updates when it comes to heat attenuation. What does that mean? Well, heat attenuation is the likelihood that damage will splash outward from the module that's being overheated at the time, right? So when a module cycles in a heat, it rolls for itself to see if it's going to damage it, and then it rolls for the modules nearby to see if it'll damage it. And the attenuation bonus is how much of a probability like cascades down the ranks. So for instance, I believe that means that with this heat attenuation, basically the chance of the damage is cut by half for each stage away from the thing that is actually being overheated is happening. So it went from 0.63 to 0.5 in the high sec or high slots, and it went from 0.5 to 0.63 in the low slots. And we have a bunch of little random ones like that. What's happening here? Well, what's happening here, it appears to be that like these are ships that have had their module layouts changed, but when those module layouts got changed, the heat attenuations did not get modified to adjust for those changes. And so this is closer to like a correction to make it so that heat attenuation is now reflected of the actual number of modules that exist in the high, medium, and low slots of those ships. Now, the fact that they added heat attenuation to the Badger's high slots is pretty funny. It does kind of imply that you could overheat Badger high slots pretty much indefinitely until they burn it themselves out. Not that there's very many things that go into high slots for Badgers that can be overheated, but... Yep, that's right. Got it. Cool. So we see this kind of all over the place. We're seeing a lot of different corrections here. Now, so far we've been pretty happy today. So far we've had a lot of good news. Brace yourself. We're gonna take a turn. Warp Disruption Field Generator 2. Allow in fully corrupted low sec. Now 1. Unusable in Zarzak goes from 1 to none. Bomb Launcher 2 goes from usable in Zarzak from 1 to none. There's probably other examples in here, but yeah, here we go. Warp Disruption Field Generator 1. Lock Breaker Bombs, Electron Bombs, Shrapnel Bombs, Bomb Launchers, Concussion Bombs. All of these things have had their unusable in Zarzak factor removed. This means now, allegedly, this what we're seeing here is not going to get patched until the 14th. So Zarzak, as of right now, is the same as it's always been. So there's no bombs, there's no bubbles, none of that stuff in Zarzak right now. However, what this is saying is, as of the 14th, bubbles and bombs will be allowed in Zarzak. That means that you'll be able to camp the inside of Zarzak, unlike now. I was a really big fan of the fact that, like, control of Zarzak was incredibly difficult, right? You can't actually project control over Zarzak. People can get around all they want, especially if you're fast enough. This cuts that. That's no longer going to be true. This means, in theory, somebody could screw with us by just, like, keeping a bubble up, you know, on the fulcrum. Now, granted, we would kill the hell out of them if they did that. But, like, this will definitely be a hitch in the operations of Zarzak. So why make this change? It was so good. It was so good. You know why? Voting matters. Apparently, our elected representatives on the CSM decided that being able to travel through Zarzak was just too good for force projection, and therefore needed to be able to be controlled by the nullsec empires, so they can now set up their own camps inside Zarzak if they want to, because somehow being able to travel from Garistus nullsec to fucking Angel nullsec is just too strong. I hate it. I think that this is, you know, I don't know if this is the correct expression, but this feels like cutting off the nose to spite the face, right? This feels like a bad choice. I would like any of the CSM members that feels differently than this. I would much like to talk to you and hear from you why it's so devastating for us to be able to travel between NPC space to NPC space. This is, it's honestly just extraordinarily disappointing, because, like, this opens up the possibility of just, like I said, it could just be like, oh yeah, we want to go do stuff. Oh, we're being camped in right now. We're being hell camped. Well, right? Like, I don't know, man. This is, in my opinion, this is bad. Bubbles and bombs do not belong in Zarzak. I also believe that bushes don't belong in Zarzak, but either way, I digress. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't like it. I don't understand it. I don't want it. But it's what we got right now. So, this is, you know what this is? You know what this is? This is karma for me. This is what I get for not doing CSM interviews this year, isn't it? I mean, not that I would have ever even thought to ask this question. It never even occurred to me to be like, hey, are you willing to mess with Zarzak? You know, whatever, man. No. Boo. Boo. Don't let null blocks decide how Zarzak works. That's not cool. All right. Now then. Jimmies have been rustled. Thumbs downs have been had. Let's all kind of purge our systems, like the stream. Let's respond with a little bit of positivity. If you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. That'll help out. It'll make us all feel a little bit better, right? Oh, I just can't. So dumb. You can stay in high sec if you don't want to deal with bubbles and bombs. I can also stay in low sec. But the point is that there's no good reason for that change. And the whole point of Zarzak is to not be controllable. Yeah, well, no, they can't. So, Nick, they can act. That's the other good point. That's actually a really good point. You cannot anchor bubbles directly on the Zarzak gates in the nullsec areas. However, you're absolutely free to use non-anchorable bubbles like sabers and Hicks and stuff. So yeah, no, they can absolutely still camp the outsides. All this does, the only thing this opens up, here's my problem with this. Here's my problem with this, actually. No. I don't want to sound like a big whiner, okay? Let's actually talk about the real difference here. If the complaint was that null blocks are afraid that moving from one place, like the freedom of movement is too powerful, here's the issue. This change doesn't really affect that. You can still camp the other ends. You know what this stops? The only thing this impacts is people undocking from Zarzak trying to warp to the freaking undocking from the Fulcrum to warp to the Shipcaster. That's who this messes up, and that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like it. The fact that something could interrupt, or because we have one point of entry, right? And so that just becomes, and it's not even like we could move if it becomes hell camped. So yeah, I see this going wrong. I see this going wrong real fast. Now that being said, I think that, like, I'm going to be friendly with the Deathless. So if I undock into your bubble camp and then you shoot me, guess what? The guns are going to start shooting you. However, I'm also going to assume that if you're powerful enough to set up a camp like this, you've probably already destroyed the gate guns. So yeah, no, I don't like this at all. Hold on. How about hold on. Can you make, so bubbles pull you out based on line direction, right? So it should be very possible to bring your saber to like the edge of the safe zone and then bubble. And then when people warp to you from the Fulcrum, it'll actually land them outside of the safe zone and at the edge of your bubble. So it'll be hard for them to get out in time with the chaos of everything else. And then you just fucking point them. Oh my God, this is horrible. Sheesh, thank you so much for the $5. Oh my God, thank you for the little bit of positivity in my dark world. No, so like, check it out. I can set up a bubble. They warp to it. When they land, I warp disrupt them, right? Now they're away from the edge, or if I scram them or whatever, they've got to burn in or burn away, and their hull is grinding down. And remember, the hull grinding down is based on percentage. And so my saber will lose hull at approximately the same rate as their hull, regardless of what their ship is. But the difference is that I have ensured that they are in the death zone first. So even if I go chasing after them into the death zone, yeah, even if I don't have one of those, like Arazu to sit there and grab you, even if I chase after you with the saber, even if I chase after you with the saber, I'm entering into the death zone after you. So you will die before I do, and I can hopefully get back into the safe zone before I die too. That is awful. Because people are going to do that. That is awful. And the worst part about it is, the worst part about it is, they're doing this without without changing directional scan, as far as I know. So this means that you can't even directional scan to find out if you're going to get fucked or not. This is not okay. This is not, I don't think that this is well thought through. I think that they need to think this through again. No, no blocks are not pirates. They are empires. The thing is, I'm not even worried about null blocks doing this. I'm worrying about, like, just a couple of, dorks. You need 2 or 3 people to set up a gate camp here. You think Tama is bad? You don't think that these gates are going to be bubble camped permanently? Why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be? You can only warp in from so many different directions. They can ensure, they can almost ensure that you die. That is bad. Yeah, I just want to go corrupt some systems, okay? I just want to corrupt some systems. We're trying to bring you bubbles in low sec, guys. Let us bring you bubbles and bombs in low sec. We don't need them in. That's so terrible. More or less, we don't even have a reason to go into Zarzak. Well, yeah, but I mean, like I said, not everybody needs to do this. Like 2 people, 1 person with 2 alts can basically like just run rough shot. I think that's the term. Run rough shot over like everything in Zarzak, right? That's ew. This is gross. This is absolutely gross. Because like they can make sure that they have a camp that's big enough that if you're fast enough to get into the safe zone, you're also weak enough for them to just blap you, right? Oh, I can't even. This is just bad. This is just bad. I cannot see this working out. It should be that way. But this isn't even a matter of N+1. This is just a matter because like this is N+1 implies that this is like set fighting points, you know? This is just all the time, right? So yeah, Dutch Gunner for CSM, exactly. So this isn't even like an N+1 problem because like it's still just a gate camp, right? If you show up with a giant force, what do? They just warp away, dock up in the fulcrum and wait until you leave and then go and set up again, you know? Like this is not an N+1 situation because they can just, an individual can just mess with you and just kill you. They're not even the ones killing you. Zarzak is killing you. That's gross. And again, I'm not even worried. So here's the thing. I'm not even worried about null blocks. That's the excuse, right? But if we're doing an insurgency, right? Let's say we're attacking a critical system. You know, we're trying to break an Amarian high-sec system to cut off Amar for the remainder of the invasion, insurrection, so that way Amar is cut off. This is one of our plans. Spoiler alert, right? Well, if the Mimitar and Amar militia decide that it's important enough, they can just start cutting us off at the spigot by just putting in alts or just paying the price to go into Zarzak and starting to camp us from even being able to project into the war zone at all. I hate it. Santiago, they're changing it so that bubbles and bombs are going to be allowed in Zarzak with the expansion. Or at least that's the plan. Yeah, a drag bubble plus a web bubble. Oh, and you can do the double bubble thing, so that way you land inside of a bubble. Oh my god, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. I don't even know. I legitimately don't even know how to counter that, right? Because like I said, you can't even tell if somebody's there. So you're just going to have to like, you're just going to have to warp there in a Corvette and like see if you get killed and then go back to the fulcrum, grab your real ship and then warp in. I hate it. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. In other news, the 20-second overseer effects have been increased in value by a little bit. Actually, I'm not sure if wobbles got added in as being allowed. Nullsec Highway 2.0. It's so... I cannot believe that Zarzak would be that much better of a highway than Pochven or Wormholes or Thera or Drifter Wormholes or any of the other highways they already use. I think for the mass test, this needs to be tested. Oh, yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. We're going to have to look into that tomorrow. Bombs are going to be not that big of a deal because, like, trying to hit somebody with a bomb is going to be hilarious. Didn't Zarzak create value to certain NPC nullsec? Well, I mean, yeah. Well, it's not Zarzak itself. It's the fact that, like, if I'm working for the Angels, I now can go into Angel NPC space, and yeah, bombs are fine. It's the bubbles that I don't like. Like, I leave Zarzak to go do missions in NPC space if I want to. Hold on, Zed. Yeah, filaments. Filaments are another way to get around. It's just. Is there anything people need to do for the mass test? Just make sure that your client is up to date. Speaking of which, there is a new update to the new launcher. It looks way cooler now, way more streamlined, and way more polished. So make sure to check that out. Yeah, I think that being able to bubble the outside should be sufficient. It should be sufficient. The thing is that Zarzak doesn't have a limit on how many people can pass. I mean, that's true. But there's no capitals either. I don't know. I want to say it could be fine. I want to say it would be fine. The fact that subcapitals have a better ability to roam around, you're going to commit. Hold on. So what you're telling me in this. Okay, I'm actually going to get mad. In this fucking world in which these dudes are complaining because they can't roam around and find people, because everybody's jumping around with free Titan bridges all over the place because they have magical teleportation machines, and then they bitch at CCP because their roaming groups can't find anything in 2019, and now they make it a way so that subcaps can roam around more effectively, and they don't like it? Screw off! That's what I have to say. That sucks. Let subcaps roam around. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to sino your dude from north to south? No. This is dumb. Oh. I need my wine glass now. Oh. No, there's no caps in Zarzak. Unless that got changed too, which let's not. Let's not, please. Is the gate really in Zarzak, like regional gate? Well, so Zarzak is connected to Alsavoinen in the Gallente Caldari war zone, Turner in the Minmatar Amar war zone. I can't remember the system. One of the capital systems in Garistis space in Venal? I'm gonna go with Venal. And then one of the, like, a place that's kind of near the Angel capital in Curse in GTAC 0. Yeah, I agree. Given the fact that you can't come from additional angles and you can't directional scan, there's no counterplay to that. There's just warp in and hope you don't die. Like, when you're traveling around nullsec, you can at least warp to an off target and try to get around the bubble. That's not an option here because they only need to cover a couple of locations. Would we be able to see the interior of the fulcrum during the Sissy test? I have no reason to believe that we will. Did we already talk about the faction warfare video CSP released today? Wait, what? Is there a new faction warfare video? Or are you talking about the insurgency video? Oh, also, heavy energy neutralizers got their volume reduced by a factor of 10. Random, I know. All right, yeah, you're right. We need some positivity. Come on back in here. Hi.
What's going on?
Can you say bubbles are bad?
Bubbles are bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Why did I just say that anyways?
Because it's true. Bubbles don't belong in Zarzak. You're gonna be one of the people bubble camping, aren't you? I'm gonna warp, and I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna be like, oh wait, who's that person? And then I'm gonna go over to your game, and I'm gonna log in and be like, that mother trucker. You're gonna kill me, aren't you? Oh, I'm so worried.
With bombs.
With see, he gets it. We'll send him first, exactly. It'll be interesting to see how Angel's defenses work when friendly capsuleers and Angel Cartel get attacked. Yeah, I still continue to be wondering whether or not that there's any going to be changes to the NPC nullsec areas involved. It is worth noting that we're supposed to be getting a dev blog every single week until it releases. So, you know, we've got several other bigger announcements coming, which I don't think that we know even what those dev blogs would be at this point, because we've gotten all of the major features. Like this dev blog and the previous one kind of covered all of the insurrection stuff. So, you know, what would come out next week would be related to stuff that we might not even know about yet.
Oh wait, you know what I just realized about EVE Online?
What?
The only thing that can actually die is your body.
That's true, because you're immortal. You just wake up in a new clone. Wouldn't that be cool?
But what about the brain?
Well, inside of the pod, there's this little device that when the pod gets breached, it scans every single neuron in your brain and gets all that data and then uploads it to a new brain, and you wake up in that. Yep.
One, does it scan it when they first start cloning you?
Yeah, when you first become a capsuleer, they scan your brain for the first time, and that actually kills you. So capsuleers have all died at least once. And then, you know, the pod itself, when the pod gets breached, it knows that you're about to die, so it scans you right then and clones you.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? That's how we become immortal in space.
Wait, I just realized something.
What?
After long enough of your ship exploding, after long enough of that, don't you just rot away in space?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question, because rotting requires like air and bacteria and stuff. So chances are not a lot of rotting would happen in space because there's no atmosphere, there's no oxygen, there's nowhere.
Well, then
there's
how
nothing to
come the
do
body
rotting.
looks like that once it explodes?
Well, it becomes a frozen corpse and you're all like burned out. Yeah. Because that body just went through a giant explosion, that's why. Makes sense, right?
No, not at all.
Ah.
I'm just kidding.
All right. These are good questions. They are good questions. That's why corpses are called meat popsicles. That's true. I keep my corpses in an ice box.
Never thought
That's
I would
true.
hear
There
those
is
words
cosmic
from you.
radiation, and that could break things down, but it wouldn't rot. It would like slowly disintegrate potentially. That's true. Your body actually boils first because the inside of your body has too much, like the blood pressure and everything. The outside has no pressure, so all of your
Wait,
blood in your body like boils out of your body.
What's the meaning of EVE on life?
EVE on life?
Yeah, EVE Online's life. Like,
What is the meaning of EVE
life
Online's
for-
life?
Yeah, like life for your character in EVE Online.
I think that we get to make up what that is, right? We have to figure that out for ourselves.
Yeah, the meaning of life for my character is just exploding others.
That's a good meaning. That's a pretty good meaning, I'd say. This isn't null blocks complaining, it's small alliances we're complaining. You know what? Let's just stick it to the CSM. I don't know who it is or whatever. It's CSM made it happen. Mad at Grr CSM, hat CSM. I don't know. Whoa, this got deep. By the way, guys, I think that we need one more membership. If I am looking at it correctly, if we get one. I didn't do that on purpose, I promise you. Well, good timing to La Tention. I'm not even going to pretend like I know how to pronounce that, but thank you so much for that support.
Latentian, I think.
Hey, and Sheesh coming in and giving a 1 membership. So what that means is that tomorrow during our live stream, where we're showing off this stuff, we will have a new emote, the Blood Raider Covenant. So thank you guys, and then I'll find out how many memberships it'll take to get to the next stage. Okay.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Yeah, Sheesh. He's a good dude. Can you say hi, Sheesh?
Hi, Sheesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's one of my top supporters. He's a good dude. He is certifiably good dude. He's also in the Alliance. You should say hi to him on Discord sometime.
Okay.
Okay. But now, what do you think I'm going to tell you? Get out.
Want more screen time next time.
Yeah.
Talk to chat.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess there it is. Stasis webification probes, unusable in Zarzak. It's now going to be usable in Zarzak. I'm not bitter, you're bitter. I'm not angry, you're okay, I am a little bit angry. Okay, and then, so here's another big thing, okay? Here is a totally separate topic, sort of. So these 4, the Imperial Shipcaster, State Shipcaster, Federation Shipcaster, and Republic Shipcaster beacons, these are the actual faction warfare shipcaster beacons. Now, famously, these things have been kind of not seen as very good by the player base, mostly because they're too easy to camp, right? You teleport directly to a specific spot and everybody can just catch you there and it's awful. So what they've done is they've changed the radius of the beacon from 7 kilometers to 30,000 kilometers. Sorry, 7,000 meters to 30,000 meters. So it's now a 30-kilometer sphere. And so when you jump to the shipcaster beacon, you can spawn somewhere on the skin of that 30-kilometer sphere. So this is going to make it a lot harder to camp and catch everyone going through, especially if you're in a fast frigate. It's going to be closer to like the outside of like acceleration gates in faction warfare space, how they're like 100 kilometers wide. So even if somebody's trying to camp it, you can like warp in from range in different places and try to get in anyways. So this is going to provide some support for that. However, we're also seeing that the resistances are being I don't know, is that increased or reduced? I can never remember. I guess that's reduced, right? So that so the resistances on the shields are going to be half. Hey, Rami with a gifted sub or a gifted membership. Thank you so much. That's the that's a buff. Oh, it is a buff. Okay. So it's going to be, they're going to be more tanky. And Vrod with a gifted membership. Wow, you guys are doing awesome. Okay. So they're going to be easier to, so jumping to them are going to be slightly safer, and they're going to be harder to blow up, basically. So we'll have to see whether or not that's sufficient for people to start liking them or not. And then here we can see, yeah, of course, all these new people getting memberships, you get all of those cool emotes, and you'll get the Blood Raider one. I'm going to make sure to do that directly after this show. Because you guys have blown me away. Thank you guys so much. So we can see here that the mutaplasmids have damage modifier, CPU usage, and rate of fire bonus. So it's very standard with the rest of the mutaplasmids for damage mods. And these are just the ship bonuses being added to the different ships. Like these are the alligator skill bonuses. And this is a roll bonus. So this is just how they attach the bonuses to the ship, actually. System small upwell turret damage. That's going to be a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly what that stat will do exactly, but I mean, obviously, I think that would allow them to modify how much damage the Upwell structures do. Like it's a multiplier against the new turrets that are being added. System Upwell AoE cloud size. That's going to be interesting. Upwell damage multiplier. That these also could be related to these could be related to the Vortron projectors. Upwell AoE velocity. Interesting. Effects per type. Do we see any of those being added? Hold on. Let's actually see. Nah. Oops. Ah, yeah. Okay. Got it. So these are just the system effects to give those bonuses to black holes and stuff. That's all. So there's that. Now then, there are also 900 strings. Ah, yeah, Wolf Riots. Oh, okay, yeah, because that's why it's small turret only. Got it. So what we can get from the strings and changes is that the fobs, the old fobs, the current fobs, the fobs that like spawn over the place and like spawn the diamond rats that you have to go blow up, they're now going to be renamed Stronghold, which makes sense because that's actually kind of the like. Actually, let me double check. Yeah, pirate strongholds. So like the strongholds term was already used for both fobs and sodios, but because now fobs are going to be used for the insurrection system, and the idea of like an insurrection fob. Fob means forward operating base. So of the two, I think that the word fob, as a person who lived in a fob in Iraq, I can assure you that the fob being the point that we jump into for the insurrection is probably a lot better than the base that the Guristas set up or whatever, as far as terminology goes. No, hold on, Zed. Come on, man. We gotta. All right, so, and this is the text for the Pyrolantia. All of the stuff for the bonuses, adding the for the Vortron projectors. We see apparently the cataclysmic dark filament never got the description that says that it'll flag you as suspect, which is kind of funny. The Sorrow Stormbringer was named to Upwell Safeguard Stormbringer, and these are irregular cruisers. So that kind of suggests that this might be part of an upcoming event. Irregular usually gets used for events. System menu, general settings, color or theme, create new theme. That's pretty cool. So we can create custom themes for our UI. Instead of having to use only the defaults that they give us, or like make it based on race. And you can copy them from the clipboard and share them. I bet you we're going to hear a lot more about this theme stuff. This is going to be one of those future upcoming dev blogs, probably. Fob services? LP store? So the fob will have an LP store? Let's see. Oh, so here we go. We got here are the new corporations. If you join the Angel Cartel, you'll be as an NPC corp. Like if you direct and not direct, yeah. Well, if you the LP that we will be getting I'll put it that way. The LP that we're going to be getting, the new faction that's being introduced for this LP is the Malakan Zealots for the Angels and the Commando Giri for the Guristas. So we have Malakan Zealots were born out of the increased Angel Cartel smuggling, raiding, and technology theft activities that began against the background of escalating hostilities between the New Eden's big four empires in the aftermath of the Triglavian invasions. For the Angel Cartel, this effort was spearheaded by the ruthless technology heist gang led by Rafik Zohar. This organization later joined with Hakazotsu ring of Gurista spies from the Guri Malakan to form the Guri Malakan raiding group. With the resolution of a series of struggles between various criminal organizations, smuggling networks, and established pirates, a loose alliance of interests was established at the initiative of the Deathless Circle that included the Angel Cartel. The Malakan Zealots now make use of the capabilities put at their disposal by the Deathless to launch their insurgency operations deep into a Mar-Mimitar border war zone. And the Commando Guri emerged out of the increased Guristas pirates, smuggling, raiding, and technology theft activities. Blah, 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 blah. Is there any difference at all? For the Guristas pirates, this effort was spearheaded by the notorious ring of Gurista spy led by Esri Hokazotsu. The organization later joined with Zohar, technology heist gang, to form the Guri Malakan. Mutaplasmid text. Yeah, I like that idea. I don't want to be a zealot, but I want the real Tristan. Well, I mean, if you join the invited, you'll be in the invited. You don't have to join the... You'll just get LP for that group. Just like... It's the same as like the FDU for the Gallente or the state protectorate for the Caldari. You know, et cetera, et cetera. It's just that's their militia group. This beacon marks a small corporate outpost location. The entry gate is configured to emit Tech 1, Tech 2, and all faction ships of destroyer size or smaller. So that confirms it. Like, these sites are not going to be restricted within the category, except for T3s, right? The site has been captured. Pirate carries incursions into the war zones. Incursions spread from the FOB. Shouldn't that be insurrection? Yeah, this should probably say pirates carry insurrections into the war zone. Insurrection spread from the FOB. The FOB spawns randomly in a war zone system. Adjacent systems then start to be corrupted. Completing pirate activities make the corruption rise and earn pirate LP. LP can be spent in the LP stores. Pirate LP stores are found in the FOB and in Zardak. There we go. Yeah. This just says a very large corporation outpost location. So yeah, that's the open. I wonder what this Mimitar Medium 5, you know, these new ones are. Are these... Because that has the same nomenclature as the plexes. So I wonder if that's going to mean that there's new Navy, like it's just going to increase the spawn of them, or if that's the version that they're supposed to run. I'm not sure. Tech 1 and pirate and Navy ships of cruiser size and smaller. So here we go. This is actually different. So this site... Whatever site this is, only allows pirate and Navy, but not Tech 2. And I don't see any, like, designation difference between the two. It's all PRT. Pirate. This is the text for the different items that are getting added that we were looking at. Lorem Ipsum. Zarzak rules, Deathless HQ system, overview. This is just the text for like the UI. Insurgency sites that where pirates assault a warehouse and try to ransack it. Militia players can defend it and destroy the pirate looters and haulers. Cool. Control Zone C, Control Zone B, Control Zone A. Interesting. So the mining raids are static areas. So I wonder whether or not this is this. This is more information about, so like all of these lorem ipsums looks like it's text that are going to be filled in to kind of explain the rules of Zarzak to people. More random UI stuff. Site has been captured. Mining fleet ambush Pirate 5. Insurgency sites where a pirate raids a corporate outpost and ransack it. Militia players can defend it and fight the players off. So that sounds like it's going to... So the corporate outpost raid sounds like it's going to be roughly the same as just a normal Plex. Mining operation under attack from pirates. PvP item drop rate bonus of 7.5 times the current corruption stage. Ooh! So there we go. That's the first piece. So this is the suppression bonus stage. So there's corruption bonus stage 1, corruption bonus stage 2, corruption bonus stage 3, corruption bonus stage 4, stage 5. Now, each of these say PvP item drop rate bonus 7.5 times the current corruption stage. But this is probably just copied. Like, I imagine that this text is going to change outside of maybe one of them, right? Paragon emblems. Join at the insurgency and shape the fate of New Eden. Stand with the empires to combat corruption, or join the pirates and embrace your chaos. Epic battles await. Will you be the hero or the catalyst? Wait. Are you saying that Gallente can't be heroes? Just more of that Caldari propaganda. More stuff for the items that were added in. Emblems, Rex, more ships. Seraphim Captain, Malachim Soldier, Ribum Gorilla. Oh, these are ranks. Faction Warfare ranks. So, like, if you become a third rank angel, you'll be known as a Seraphim Captain. And then you become an Elohim Sublord. Wow, that is very on the nose. I'm actually very surprised that CCP is putting Elohim into the game. The Angel Cartel have always kind of danced around with, like, you know, Jewish Kabbalistic language, but like Elohim is a proper name of God. Either way, Ophanim Crime Lord is for angels. Yazatim Overlord should be a member lord instead of a sublord, though, right? Oh yeah, you're right. Like, it would be weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's definitely other Kabbalistic words that they could use. Throne Eminence. Ooh, I like that. Principal Warlord. Domination Kleptarch. And then Guristas goes from Corsair Hunter to Ace Pirate to Hijack Commander to Heist Crew Chief to Raid Wing Captain to Dread Commodore to Insurgent Admiral to Guri Fleet Admiral. That's cool. Oh, there's descriptions too. Seraphim captains are expected to run their own gangs, planning and executing operations to advance the criminal interests of the Malachian zealots. This level of authority is similar to the cartel gang captains, and the Seraphim captains rank immediately above Malachim soldiers and below the Elohim subcommanders. There are multiple names for God. Yadhe Vauhe, the Tetragrammaton, is obviously the most famous one. That's I am what I am, or I am that I am. But Elohim is another one of the names of God. I think it means like, I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, Adonai means Lord. Elohim, I think, means like love. I can't remember. Elohim. I ain't gonna lie. I purposefully mispronounce. Like, I know me mispronouncing names is a thing. Call it a superstition, but I grew up with a lot of Jewish friends, so I've learned to not try to properly pronounce names of God. But you know, either way, we're moving on. Yeah, you know, I kind of want to join the Guristas just long enough to get ace pirate rank, right? Yeah, there you go, Rami. Those. Okay. The Caldari motto is no hesitation, no remorse. The Gallente motto is liberty without compromise. Mimitar is never forget, never relent. The Amar are our righteous destiny. Descriptions about how... So all of this is just like a ton of information about... This is just standard faction warfare stuff. They added in descriptions for all that information too. And then they have... By joining the Guristas Pirates, you'll be a valid target for Caldari and Gallente Capsuleers and will be attacked by their navies in an enemy empire space. I think you're confusing that with Bloody Mary, Lazy One, but you know. Pirates carry lawless, dangerous activities. By aligning with Guristas or Angel Cartel, you'll engage in illicit pursuits like smuggling, piracy, and combat. Pilots daring enough to participate in pirate activities can explain becoming legal targets, etc. Something tells me that's going to get changed. Get ready for a unique and risky gameplay experience, contributing to the dynamic and unpredictable nature of New Eden. The Guristas is freedom in anarchy, and Angel's motto is fortunes for the taking. Ba-ba. Your standings for this faction are too low. They need to be -2 or above. That's for the Pirates, whereas the Empire say 0-0. You're currently in the process of aligning with this faction. Follow the opportunities instructions in the info panel to complete the enlistment process. So there's a little bit more hand-holding in the opportunities window for the enlistment process. And that's it. That's it, guys. That's it. We did it. We did it. You know what's funny about that, Jeff? People keep bringing this up to me about like, oh, angels are slavers. You know what you kill? You know what you kill when you when you do the Angel Cartel epic arc? You kill Sancha slavers and sorrow agents and Guristas. So, you know, like, I feel like this whole, like, oh, Angel Cartel participate in slave trade is that's just that's empire propaganda, sir. And then there's a whole bunch of new files, including all of the, you know, images and stuff. So there's the Deathless Shipcaster completed. Golly. Okay. Well, these appear to be stand-in graphics. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just like things that you would never expect to see. These are like little images that just make other things work. But here we go. We got, this is the Commando Guri logo, which is hard to see with the white background. And then here's the Malachim Zealots logo. That's right. Angels are in the slave business because I like to point out that the angels basically play off of the negative side of each of the core empires, right? So they participate in the slave trade for the Amar and you know, insurrection for the Mimitar and smuggling rather for the Mimitar and, you know, drug trade for the Gallente and gambling and, you know, corporate corruption for the Caldari. Like that's what they do. They don't only just like their activities are explicitly to like shine a mirror. That's not how that works. Hold up a mirror to the empires to show them how corrupt they really are. 07 Katrina, thank you for that. Fascism for the Gallente. Well, Gallente is a very like when you think about like the negative nature of Gallente, it's very Brave New World, right? Where it's very permissive. You can have all these crazy drugs and do all this crazy body mods and you're totally free as long as you stick to the Federation and agree with the you know the propaganda and participate in democracy. Then you sure freedom. You have all the freedom to do all of the bad things to yourself that you want to. So yeah, that's kind of the negative side of the Gallente. Yeah, you're free as long as you do what we say. And to conclude, ugh, I'm not even going to make this work, am I? Oh, I have locked up my whole thing. Right? Is this? Yeah. My browser window is unhappy. There it is. Let's see. There we go. Here is the character selection screen for the expansion. And I think again, that's it. That's everything coming that we have so far. This is what was patched into Sissy today. So we will be doing the live test tomorrow. We will be doing it live on stream from 1800 to 2000. And there'll be extra time in the stream for the Raid Shadow Legends stuff. So I hope to see you guys there. We'll do it one more time. Hold on. All right, Zed, you can come in if you want, if you're still listening. Zed? What? I'm nervous. Is it okay? Show me your buddy. I'm concerned. This is live, so, you know, what could possibly go wrong? In the meantime, I've been Ashrothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and here to put even into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Oh my god, bring the buddy over. Oh my god.
Oh, buddy.
Look at this guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. This is why you're doing the likes, comments, and subscribes, guys. Look at this boy. He's so cute. He's so cute.
He sure is.
He's the best. He's not a bunny. He's a guinea pig. This is a guinea pig. Oh, he's making the little chirpy noises. Nice. All right, like the stream. Like the stream.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're saving this this little one if you're liking this.
Hold him underneath, just like with the cat or whatever. Like hold him by the feet. There you go. Oh, Put him back in the cage. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I want to give an extra special shout out to my top sponsors, supporters, whatever you want to call them. Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arkas Ilring, Belligerent Neckbeard, Black Rose Noble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, Federation Frontline, Ganai, J-Kun, Lumi, Midnight Space Monkey, Milk, Not Just Fun, Seeds of Plenty, Serenolin with No Eyes, Shodanar, Syliana Vel'ash, Tgen Tgen, Nephilim, Grendel, Yantey Lepouf, Zaul Nex, Zero, as well as my Immortal tier supporters. Come on over here. Can you read this list of names? 745.
745 NPSI.
Arydanika
The Queen. Ebo 1337. May. Malak Starfire. Merc Utan.
Nihilum. LM1.
LM1. Sheesh. And Rid. Thank you so much.
Now, I don't want you guys getting me in trouble for, having my... This was a fun time.
Sure
Let's have fun.
was.
All right, guys. On that note, I will see you tomorrow. But until next time, I'll see you in space. By the way, I want to point out that if you do want to go do the epic arcs, be very careful. Currently, the system of Quay for the Angel Epic arc has 21 people in local.
Wait, how long has the
so-
stream been
Just around 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's been pretty cool. All right. I'm an Ashtarothi. Until next time,
I'm dead right
I'll see you in space. Yeah, thanks for lightening the mood, Zed. Say bye.
Bye.
Bring on the wrecking machine.
Thank you guys for all of those memberships today. I will get on that Blood Raider logo like right now.
Bring on the wrecking machine, setting your dreams of heaven on fire. Bring on the wrecking machine. Bring on
Yeah, 1800 is when it starts. I'll probably try to start the stream a little bit early.
wrecking machine. Gonna ignite your every desire. Bring on the wrecking machine. For every city you burn, let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. For every city